Hello and welcome. I am Arnab Lahiri and you're watching BUTV. Before we begin here are the three highlights of the show. Supreme Court suspends the three new farm laws. However, Indian farmers continue protesting at the capital's borders. The center faces huge economic loss due to the farmers' protest. According to the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the losses can be over 70,000 crores in the December quarter alone. Lastly, BUTV takes you inside the community kitchens that have been fueling farmers' protest. Today marks the 100th day since protesting farmers blocked multiple entry and exit points to the national capital. Sitting at the highways since November 2020, farmers continue to demand the repeal of the three new farm laws. These bills were introduced in the parliament on 10th September last year and received the president's assent on 27th September. Although the farmers' union have shown their dissatisfaction towards the new farm laws in the first round of talks, the government insists that the laws are a much needed change. Before we go ahead, let's break down these three laws for the better understanding of our viewers. The Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. The government says that under this act, produce can be brought or sold anywhere outside the established traditional mandis. Under this, no cess or tax can be levied by the central government. The Farmer Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Service Act. According to this law, the farmer can enter a legal contract with any buyer or a private player, whoever he chooses. There can be legally bound agreement on prefixed prices, which in turn gives the farmer more security. The Essential Commodities Amendment Act. This law allows the government to regulate the flow of certain food supplies only during extraordinary circumstances, such as a famine or a war. Foodstuff like cereals, pulses, potato, onions, edible oilseeds, and oils have been removed from the list of essential commodities under this law. It also aims to attract the private sector and foreign direct investment to the agricultural sector. The Modi government and the Supreme Court both have tried to give solutions to the farm laws. From a committee of stay on the laws, opinions have been provided for the farmers. Then why are they refusing to leave? Yash brings us this report.
Tens of thousands of farmers have marched to the capital and its surrounding cities to protest against the new farmer reforms. They've covered at least 5 major highways. Even through the biting winter cold and the afternoon heat, they sit here asking for their voices to be heard.
कितने दिन हो गए आपको यहाँ पे?
यहाँ महीना हो गया।
महीना हो गया?
हाँ जी, हमें 10 दिन हो गए।
हमको 64 दिन हो गए।
हमको यहाँ पे 2 महीने हो गए।
मैंने आए यहाँ 66 दिन हो गए जी आज।
This has all happened due to the central government passing new farming laws that will change how the agricultural sector has worked for years. With the protests getting out of hand and the central government taking almost negligible action, the SC decided to take matters in their own hands. A committee was formed due to the number of petitions flooding the court. Yet why are the farmers still protesting?
सरकार ने जो कमेटी बनाई है आप उससे खुश नहीं हो?
कमेटी कौन? सरकारी कमेटी है, उसमें कौन से आदमी है? सरकार के आदमी है, उससे हमको न्याय नहीं मिलेगा।
कमेटी बनाते हैं बार हम भी न्यूज़पेपर पे सुनते रहते हैं, देखते रहते हैं। कमेटी में लगातार एक ही बात, इन्होंने तो पहले दिन से कह दिया है कि हमें ये कानून पास हमें चाहिए नहीं, ये कानून हटाया जाए। तो उस पर बात क्यों नहीं करते? ये क्या बात हुई कि 1 साल के लिए कर लो या 2 साल के लिए कर लो, इससे कोई फायदा नहीं है। 1 साल बाद फिर दोबारा से धरने लगेंगे, फिर दोबारा से लोग रोड पर आएंगे।
अरे कमेटी उनकी है, हमारी कमेटी है ही नहीं। कमेटी बीजेपी वालों की है, हमारी तो किसान गया ही नहीं अदालत में।
The farmers still haven't got what they wanted, and the 18-month stay on was not something they asked for. With neither the government nor the farmers backing down, we have no option but to wait for a fruitful outcome.
With farmers continuing to sit at the protest sites for almost 5 months now, industry insiders are worried. Industry body PhD Chamber of Commerce has said that micro, small and medium enterprises have been severely impacted in Punjab, Haryana and other borders of the state, other border areas near the national capital. For industries that were already in dire straits because of the pandemic, the farmer agitation was the final blow.
In a major assessment, PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry stated that the ongoing protest against the three farm laws led to economic losses of over rupees 70,000 crore in December 2020 third quarter. PhD CCR President Sanjay Agarwal pointed the economic losses and the disruption in supply chain due to the farm protest. The news came at the time when the talks between the government and the farmer union are still inconclusive. While talking to the businessman, owner of One Earth hotel chain, Sanjay Kumar Bhatia, we discussed the impact of farm protest and the economic losses on the small businesses.
So people are not traveling. Delhi is a feeder market for quite a few locations like Amritsar, Shimla, and primarily these two places I have my hotel. A lot of business loss. It is difficult to survive. So till the time the farmers don't move from there, business will not pick up. So we're doing our best to survive, but the business has taken a severe beating. This bill that the government has passed will have far-fetched effects, and the people who will not benefit from it are the middlemen. And my business has taken a beating, but I'm still willing to stand with the government.
Other industry bodies, including CII and ASSOCHAM, have already expressed similar concerns. Even the CII mentioned that the supply chains have been disrupted by the farmer protesting, blocking highways and railway tracks. However, the government has shown no sign in repealing the three controversial laws. Let's hear Navlesh Kumar Jha, an advocate and BJP member on farm protest.
किसान के लिए हित में है, लोग नहीं समझते हैं, इसलिए ऐसा अनिश्चितकालीन हड़ताल पर बैठे हुए हैं। एंटी लॉबी सब उसको साथ दे रहा है, बरगला रहा है। चलने दीजिए, लेकिन ये बिल हम लोग ला के रहेंगे।
With the economic loss of over 3,500 crore and there is no sign of agreement between the farmer union and the government, India is bound to face major economic losses. This is Shalini Mishra reporting for BUTV.
Thank you, Shalini. Fueling these protesters for days together are the community kitchens or langars that are functional from crack of dawn to midnight. Help comes in the form of volunteers who not only provide raw materials but also lend a hand to the kitchen. Farmers make everything from pizza to pakoras so that no one goes hungry while voicing their opinions.
Scores of volunteers can be seen cooking rotis, stirring dals in huge pots, and preparing tea at these protest sites, distributing fresh and hot meals. Volunteers make sure that no one goes hungry protesting for their rights. Several organizations like the Khalsa Aid have contributed resources to these langars, and farmers even claim that they have an uninterrupted supply of materials from their own fields.
आप देख रहे हो ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਮੋਰਚਾ ਚੱਲੇਗਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚਿਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇਹ ਰਾਸ਼ਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਖਤਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਸੰਗਤ ਟਰੈਲੀ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਵੀਰ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਆਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਰਸਤੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਟੇ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਆਲੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਗੋਭੀ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਤਾਰ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਨ
Locals of the nearby villages also stepped into the protest to help the farmers. Students, businessmen and doctors have offered their service at the protest sites, from coming forward to prepare langars to providing food and medicines. Local families have been helping a lot to the farmers.
अपने गांव से आई हूँ और पति के साथ यहाँ काम करती हूँ, खाना बनाती हूँ, दिन भर सारे लोगों को खिलाती हूँ। शाम को मतलब हलवाई आता है, वो खिलाता है, बनाता है। यहाँ पे दवाई भी हम लोग देते हैं, जो दुख जाता है उसको सारी दवाई देते हैं। हाँ।
The community kitchens at these protest sites are helping the people stay strong. These provide the major support that farmers need in order to survive. It would have been very difficult for the protesting farmers to come this far without their assistance.
This is Aryan Bajaj reporting for BUTV.
Even after 11 rounds of talks, the governments and the farmers' union have not reached on an agreement. What is the road ahead? Is there an alternative to these three new farm laws? Heading over to Shivani, who will introduce us to our guest speaker today, Mr. Shantanu Sharma. Shivani, over to you.
Thank you, Arnav. Hello and welcome. I'm Shivani, and joining me today is Advocate Shantanu Sharma to talk about legality of the issue and steps farmers can take ahead. Welcome, Mr. Shantanu.
Hi, Shivani.
Let me ask you straight off the bat, are the laws actually going to benefit the farmers, or is this just a political game?
See, there have been many arguments and assertions about how the farm bills are going to benefit, or are they going to be some kind of cancer to the Indian agricultural sector. So it is important to understand how the current system is working. If you are trying to remove the current system, which works for the APMCs or the Mandi Parishads, which are operating in different states under the current laws. So these APMCs are pretty much regulated by the government. So the major issue which is there is that the new agricultural bills or agriculture acts, majorly which is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act, which basically provides freedom, as per se the government is quoting, which provides us the freedom that any could go and trade in the open mandis, or any could go and be a trader for trading into all these essential commodities. So this is pretty much unregulated, and there would be a circumstance, and there would be scenarios where these kind of situations may arise, and there would be disputes between the people who are acting as traders, or between the disputes between them and the farmers, which eventually will be of not much benefit for the farmers, and it would be a hassle for them to do all the recovery and all those things. So there are lots of issues with that. No, the in the current form, I believe so. I personally have an opinion that it might be of not much help to the farmers.
So are these laws going to affect farmers in the long run, and will there be any kind of impact on the end consumer also?
See, how the system has been placed to introduce these three farm bills. I personally believe that the effect or the severe effects of these farm bills will be felt, the farm acts will be felt after at least 4 years. Because once the corporate sectors and the private investment institutional players enter into these sectors, initially it might sound and it might be quite lucrative for the farmers, giving them better deals, giving them better options, giving them better prices on the farmers produce. But once, since the Essential Commodities Act has been amended, and they have been all these cereals, pulses, and livestock and poultry have been pulled out of it. So now these private institutional investors have the right to hold all these pulses and all the livestock and everything. So after 3 or 4 years, there would be a scenario where they would be the ones governing all the prices. So essentially, I feel that it will definitely have an effect on the long run, and definitely the end consumers would be the one who would be suffering.
So is this bill helping in bringing private investments into the agriculture?
Yes, it does, and I think it's important that private investments do come into Indian agricultural sector, which has been pretty much regulated and restricted. See, issue is the way it has been portrayed into these bills, the way they have been, the way the private investment is being tried to introduce in the agricultural sector is an issue. If there could have been, any other option or another way of doing it, then I must say that the farmers will also, or the people who are opposing it will also accept it. So there's no problem into private investment being there. See, current APMCs Act, which are working right now, they also have contracts and tenders for building different yards and different mandis and everything for private investments. The private investors can come and build it and they operate those. There are tenders for that. So when it comes to specifically trading the produce, there has to be a much more comprehensive and strict policy and regulated policy for this area.
So, like, why is it considered so bad about corporates getting into agriculture?
See, I'm not saying that it's bad. It's bad. Like the corporate should enter into agriculture, and I believe so that how the online services and the current market scenario is. Majorly, corporates have entered into retail side of it. You could see all the big companies, right from Amazon and Reliance, they have entered into the retail side of the farmers' produce. They are doing all kinds of apps and businesses and logistic support and everything. So the issue is that they once they get into the produce side of it and trading the produce side from the source, then it has to be regulated. It cannot be an unregulated sector.
Okay, so lastly, I would like to ask you what do you see as the way forward? Like, is this 1 year trial introduced by the government a right side in this direction, considering the present scenario and the agitation by the farmers?
It could be a right thing to do, but I don't think so that see, if there is problem with something, there's no point delaying it. If things could be amended at right now and right during these discussions, if these things could be done right, so why to delay it and give it a try for 1 year? So when the farmers are not accepting it, there's no point delaying it for another year. So it could be a delay tactics or something, but any which ways, I would not comment much on it. It's the government's decision how to do it.
Okay, sir. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Shantanu.
Thank you so much, Shivani.
Back to you, Arnav.
Neither the farmers nor the central government are willing to step down anytime soon. And with no current breakthrough, we can only wait for a fruitful outcome. With that, we come to the end of today's bulletin. Hope you enjoyed the show. Keep watching BU TV.